Hi everyone, Thalia here, and I'm finally here with my last part of the Chimera Ants arc of Hunter x Hunter. And I know it's been taking me quite some time to actually do this, but once I finished Hunter x Hunter, I got kind of in a Hunter x Hunter coma, I guess. I was missing the series way too much, and I was getting so depressed that there's nothing more of it, that I started to buy and get everything from Hunter x Hunter and just get even more obsessed with it because it is that good. So I will finally talk about the last part of the Chimera Ants arc, which is basically the part where everything goes down. What a ride. It was amazing. I can't say anything more than that. Although I do have to admit, York New City arc is still my favorite arc. I do have to admit, but the feels were real in that last part. And all of the battles were so amazing. I haven't seen battles or fights like this in anime before where I was like, holy shit, what's gonna happen? And just be so hype. And oh man, the cliffhangers, I got so frustrated sometimes, but luckily I could marathon this part. And so I did. So the whole thing started with the staircase. They stayed there for quite some time because the fight started immediately. We also had Netero and Zeno with their attacks on the palace, which was great. And just Pitou like reacting to that was also like, ugh, I like Pitou so much. But we had Gon's team versus Yuppie and Shia Pouf. So that was pretty interesting, although, you know, Yuppie stayed longer, Shia Pouf kind of went his own way, but that was really interesting and kind of feelsy with some characters as well, and it was just badass. I can't really say more. I really enjoyed that part. Then early on, when Netero and Meruem actually met each other, they already said that they were going to fight somewhere else, so Gon saw him as well, which was like, oh shit, but they didn't fight. So Netero actually went away with Meruem, and then we didn't see them for quite some time until their really big battle, but that is for later on. Before that, we have Gon and Killua actually confronting Neferpitou. And since of that whole attack that Zeno and Netero did, Komugi got pretty injured. That whole part with Neferpitou actually taking care of Komugi, I thought that was really cool. I didn't really expect that from Neferpitou. I know she does have a lot of respect, but I always saw that all of the royal guards really didn't like Komugi, but Neferpitou did it, and lots of respect for that. So that happened, and then we had the whole thing with Gon just sitting there and waiting till Neferpitou was done with healing. That was so nerve-wracking, and it took so long for me. Not in a bad way, but it was just like, oh my god, I want to know how this fight is going to go on, and when it is going to go on, and how it is going to go on, because as other people know, I kind of got spoiled on the whole thing with Gon and his power, but I still wanted to know so badly how it was going to go. So we had that whole thing that we kind of had to wait. But like I said, I didn't mind. It was really frustrating in a good way, because it was really hype. We have those two big battles in this part, which is Netero and Meruem, and then Pitou versus Gon, which were the most exciting of them all. But I do have to admit, like, the smaller battles were really exciting as well. I really enjoyed them. Knuckle versus Yuppie was really nice. I really liked that. Knuckle has become one of my favorite characters as well since the Chimera Ants arc, and lots of respect to him. He's just really badass. And I could easily say the same thing about Model, because Model and Knuckle, them together, it's just perfect. I really like them. So we had Model, who had to fight Shia Pouf. That was pretty nerve-wracking, to be honest, since, you know, Model kind of got in some trouble. And which was a good thing. I was actually really excited to see him struggle. Not to say that he's not strong enough, but it was good to see how he would fix things and kind of get out of it. And afterwards, it's also him versus Yuppie, and that was also like, oh shit, like I felt bad for Model just having to go through all of this, but it was so nice to see what he can actually do and how much he fought against it. It was so nice. And of course we had Knuckle helping him, and I do have to admit I didn't really see that coming because I wasn't really thinking about who is where and blah blah blah, because there's a lot of smaller fights going on in the series, and sometimes it's kind of confusing to know where each of the characters are at that moment. So, and it goes pretty fast as well. So yeah, I just really like those two fights a lot. Speaking of smaller fights, we also have that whole fight with Ikalgo, and I thought that was pretty feelsy as well. And him versus Welfin was just very nerve-wracking as well, but it was so good. I really enjoyed it. It was even a bit too short for me because I enjoyed it that much. I just really liked Ikalgo. At first I was like, I'm not sure. He's just kind of there to fight with them. But since that scene, I was like, oh man, Ikalgo is really a cool dude, and I really like him. Killua and Palm, and that was pretty feelsy as well, especially when it comes to Killua. So if you've seen this, you know what I'm talking about. Just Killua kind of breaking down and them talking about Gon, and they both just really caring about Gon. That kind of made them realize like they don't have to fight, they just need to find Gon and like be friends again. Kind of like that. But I really like that fight, and just like the conversation between Killua and Palm. Then of course we have like the biggest fight from this part, which is Netero versus Meruem, and that one was perfect for me. I really enjoyed it, especially the meaning behind Netero, his final attack. It was beautiful. I didn't, like, at first I was like, oh my god, what's going on? Because this is terrible. Something's gonna happen. Someone's gonna die. Like, this is just, I mean, amazing. So, I really enjoyed it. Netero is such a good character, and the voice actor did such a good job on that one. It was just the fight itself and just the conversation between them was really good. And like I said, the meaning, it was so enjoyable, and that one is definitely one of my favorite fights of the whole series. And then, of course, after that, we have the fight with Pitou and Gon, Long Gone. And that was interesting. I mean, like I said, I was kind of spoiled, so I knew kind of what would happen. But it was still very emotional because of the whole thing that happened with Kites, and just Gon seeing Kites, and oh, it broke my heart so much. Whenever I saw Kite, I was like, oh, I wish Gon knew about this. But, you know, just that scene and him kind of transforming and all that because of his power. It was something, like, if I wouldn't be spoiled about it, I probably would not have expected it at all. So I can see why this part of the series is such a shocker to a lot of people. I do have to admit, like, the whole outfit that Gon is wearing and him being like very masculine and big, it was pretty funny. I do have to admit, like, it's pretty funny, and long hair and all that. It was nice. It was something that I haven't really seen before, so therefore it was very entertaining, I will tell you that. And I was really hyped, especially when he actually defeated Pitou, and then she kind of came back to life. Not really, but just like, it was like her last breath and kind of wanting to fight for the king. And oh man, that was so, it was so good. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. That is also one of my favorite fights of the whole series. I do have to admit, like, Chimera Antark does have some of the best fights in like all of Shonen that I've seen before. And for Hunter x Hunter, it's just amazing how they did that. Also, the fact that Killua got there and just saw how Gon was also kind of heartbreaking. Like, this part of the series has definitely been the most emotional to Killua and Gon. So since we have all of the big fights out of the way, I want to talk about Pouf, because he is a character that I kind of started to hate in this part, because he wanted to have this secret. He wanted to have Komugi gone. But, you know, that didn't happen. Luckily, because of Welfin. So props to Welfin. Welfin was such a good character in this part. I really liked him. But back to Pouf. Like I said, like, at first we knew that he really liked the king, even more than all of the other ones. I feel like he was like a fangirl kind of to him, which was funny. Some scenes were really funny, I have to admit, with Pouf that I did enjoy. But overall, Pouf was getting on my nerves so much, trying to hide Komugi, trying to hide the game that they were playing the whole time, and just like anything that could Meruem kind of remember her. And I guess I kind of got frustrated because I wanted Meruem so badly to remember Komagi and just for them to be happy, that, you know, it's just because of that I kind of got mad at Pouf, I guess. But that thing kind of makes this part so much better as well. I mean, I might have been kind of frustrated and annoyed by him, but it's more like a love-hate relationship that I have with Pouf. The whole thing with Pouf versus Time and Truth was very interesting because I was always at the edge of my seat just wondering if he could actually pull it off or not. So if you're already wondering about if it's going to work or not, I think that is a good sign, because otherwise it would have been too predictable, I guess. So I kind of did have a feeling that he could have actually done it. I think Pouf could have done it if he was more cautious, I guess, with his clones and all that. Which is also something that I really liked about Pouf, to be honest. So yeah, like I said, it is a love-hate relationship. But I think him being this very important role in this last part was definitely something very entertaining. And luckily, Welfin actually mentions her name, so Komagi, and then Meruem could figure out where she was. And then we had that whole scene with Palm as well, which was also pretty feelsy and emotional, and I really enjoyed it. It was nice to kind of see Palm in that way and in that situation, and it was interesting to see how she reacted as well. So we had that whole thing, and then just the last scene with Komagi and Meruem was so beautiful. I really enjoyed it. I'm so glad that they were back together, and it was just very emotional. I can't really say much more about that scene because I'm pretty sure a lot of people were satisfied how this arc ended. I definitely was satisfied with how it ended. And I just really loved how the whole scene was with them two having their last moments. And it was just so nice. So yeah, I really enjoyed this arc. And then we have the next arc coming up, and which was also like the last episode for Chimera Ant arc. We had the whole thing with Netero, his last message, and just announcing the election arc, kind of. And we also have that whole thing with Killua and Gon being in a very critical condition. And that made me very worried because I didn't know at all, like, at what bad shape he was. And when you see it, it's just like, oh god, this is pretty serious. This is not going to be fixed in a few episodes. So, yeah, that was just I was pretty nervous just to, like, find out what would happen with Gon and all of that. So this arc ended. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I was kind of looking forward to the election arc after that as well, because the Chimera Ant arc is obviously a very long arc, but I do have to admit it shouldn't have been a bit longer, because I think it was the right amount. Maybe it was a little bit too long for maybe the beginning or something. I don't know. I think it was enjoyable from beginning to end, but obviously the end of this arc was way more exciting than anything else that happened in this arc. What I liked the most about this arc was definitely the teamwork and all of the characters and just like the ants and all of that. They were all very interesting, and I like that we actually got backstory on a lot of them. That was something that I definitely didn't expect. And then just the fights being so amazing is definitely what made this arc so good. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about this arc in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be back with the last arc of Hunter x Hunter. I will be reviewing that soon. It is only like 10 or 11 episodes, so it's not gonna take long until that video is out. And this time, I promise you that. So I am also kind of thinking about making other Hunter x Hunter related videos because I just really like the series. So I might actually make lists with favorite characters, favorite fights, all of that stuff. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to Hunter x Hunter, so I'm kind of excited to do that. So if you have any suggestions or something like that, feel free to put that in the comments as well. I'd be happy to consider it and actually make a video about it. So yeah, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon with another review. Bye!